Let's look forward a bit, shall we? One of you asked about the path to the Big Ten championship game. Well, it exists. The tiebreakers get clunky and weird. It's more likely Oregon would make the Big Ten championship game, it seems, with Ohio State losing and then the tiebreakers going in Oregon's favor. That seems more likely than Indiana losing 2 games the rest of the year. Now, I don't anticipate either of those things happening because I'm really impressed with both of those football teams. And let's also remember, I'm really impressed with Indiana because I do think Oregon's a really good team. And I believe Oregon's a playoff team. And Indiana went to Austin and won. That's impressive. They are very impressive. Ohio State, also very impressive. That is a darn good football team, once again, as we know. So is there a path? Yeah. It exists. Ohio State could lose, I don't know. They're not going to lose to Penn State. They could lose to Michigan. Yeah, that's about it. Indiana plays Penn State this year as well. Not going to be like when Oregon played them whatsoever. Man, the Ducks broke that program. It's actually kind of wild. But there are paths to get there. But I got to tell you, after winning it last season, I don't care. If they go, all right, fine. But frankly, I'd rather Oregon go 11-1 or 10-2 and find a way to have a home playoff game. That would probably require 11-1. Ohio State was 10-2 last year, and they hosted a playoff game. Tennessee was 10-2. They went to Ohio State. So, the seeding and different ways that can go. I think we are officially on, out-of-town scoreboard watch from time to time. Because currently the only ranked team that Oregon plays the rest of the year is USC. Now that can change. As we know, things can change pretty dramatically. And we'll see how over time the playoff committee, when they unveil their first rankings, treat Oregon's win at Penn State. It obviously feels a lot different now, but I don't know. I know where I stand on the matter, that I still give Oregon credit for going on the road and beating a team that was ranked inside the top 5 and had all the talent to be that caliber of a team. Will the playoff committee see it that way? Not sure. I think, frankly, Drew Aller getting hurt could work in Oregon's favor from a perception standpoint for that win. But the teams that are most likely to be ranked when Oregon plays them or after, which matters a lot as well, are the last 2 games of the year, USC and Washington. And we could go into that final stretch. If Oregon doesn't stumble again between now and then, you could look at that and there's a world where Oregon needs to go 2-0 to make the playoff. I think in all likelihood, they would probably just need to go 1-1. But USC plays Notre Dame this week. I know this might pain a lot of you to hear. Rooting for USC is a good thing for the Ducks. You'd rather that win just to be safe. 11-1, no matter what, gets Oregon into the playoff. But because of the loss to Indiana, you still have some wiggle room because this is a 12-team playoff, not a 4-team. But you don't have infinite wiggle room. So I'd take every mark in your favor you can get. And USC ending the year 9-3 and having a road win at Notre Dame, yeah, that would help. That would help a whole heck of a lot. So on the Big Ten championship game, though, I do not care. Like even last year, was it exciting? Was it cool? Yes. Was I even 1/10 as excited as I was when the Mariners finally won the division series? No, not even close. Because I knew, this is cool. Wow, this is a big-time statement to walk into the league, beat Ohio State and Michigan, and then win the Big Ten champ. That's a big statement. I was thinking more about the recruiting impact than the on-field impact, and we saw why that was the case. But it didn't fill me with so much joy and happiness. We all know what Oregon's playing for. So, yeah, I don't care about the Big Ten championship. I really don't. Like Oregon basketball last year. Would it have been cool to go on a run in the Big Ten conference tournament and get a higher seed in the NCAA tournament? Sure, it would have been fun. But when they lost that second game to Michigan State, did I feel like, oh no, they can't accomplish? No, Not at all. I thought, okay. That's what this is now. That's what the 12-team playoff has done to college football. And the Oregon fan in me likes that. The college football fan in me does not care for it. So, anyway. Couple questions here from Who Dat Duck. For the Ducks, who's the most responsible for making adjustments to the play calling or game plan on each side of the ball? Is it the coordinators? Does Lanning dip his toes into both pools? Or are there even influential position coaches that have some pull? And in your opinion, how many times is it acceptable for the initial plan to fail before an adjustment is made, 1 to 2 drives each, etc.? I'll start with the first part. It's much more of, I'm sure every staff is different to some degree. It is much more of a collaborative effort than you probably think. Okay, Drew Merringer, the tight ends coach, and Rashad Samples, the running backs coach, and just keep going up and down the list. Ross Douglas, receivers coach, all of those guys. Okay, they're all talking. You know, we've heard that from the headset communications on Ducks versus them, right? Lanning asked, I think it was on the 4th and 1 play action that they hit to DeCorian Moore against Penn State. I think Lanning actually asked Drew Merringer, like, hey, Drew, do we like the look here? And he said, yeah, we like it. And then they go with the 4th and 1, and it works out. So it is very much a collaborative effort. Lanning definitely dips his toes into both pools. I don't think there's any question about that. You know, depending on how each half has gone, maybe he goes more one way than the other. I don't think every head coach is different. I think that's the best answer that I can give. But I know for certain it is not just one coach or one voice. Like there are a lot of guys. You know, if Oregon's defense has a bad first half, okay, those guys are going to hear from Tosh Lupoi. They're going to hear from Tony Tuioti. They're going to hear from Chris Hampton. They're going to hear from Coach B. Mike. Like all of those guys are going to be voices in that room. It is very collaborative in there. On the second part of your question, how many times is it acceptable for the initial plan to fail before an adjustment is made? If your first 2 offensive drives both stall, like you come out with a game script and a game plan, those are 2 different things. Game plan is, as I talked about yesterday, the big picture of how you want the game to look, certain things you want to try to accomplish or do, run the ball this many times, throw it this many times, hit this number of play action shots. All those sorts of things come together to make a game plan. But your first drive is generally scripted. It's, hey, as long as we stay ahead of the chains, we're calling these plays in this order. You know, like that quick 3-play sequence Oregon had for their only offensive touchdown of the game, that was all scripted. Like they worked on that at practice throughout the week. Hey, we're going to come out and call these 3 plays. It is going to be the end around, it is going to be the quick screen, and then it is going to be the deep shot. And as long as we stay ahead of the chains, we're doing that in order. And that, of course, worked out perfectly. Nothing after that worked consistently on offense. But some of that is Oregon just needs to get out of its own way. I'd say 2 offensive drives, you kind of throw the game plan to the wind and say, okay, let's figure out what works here. I know we came in today wanting to get De'Aaron Hill going, but they're defending the stretch run, so we got to make an adjustment. We can't give them 10 carries and have them finish the day with 10 yards if they're just going to load up to the edge. But yeah, I'd say 2 is when a coaching staff will go, okay, we want to do this, but we need to now make serious adjustments on the fly. Question 2, just for a fun Fantasyland exercise. If talent was identical across college football and recruiting didn't matter, this is Fantasyland. Here the only differentiator was coaching staff. Where is Oregon ranked, and who would be 1, 2, and 3 in your opinion? Well, let's put them behind Indiana. Let's put them behind Georgia. I think we still have to put them behind Washington with Alabama with Kalen DeBoer, former Washington head coach. Those 3 would be pretty high on the list. I don't think there are many. Like, I still like Oregon's coaches. I still like the staff. I still like the team. I think we're going to get reminded of that this Saturday against Rutgers. They will look like a team that is going to the college football playoff. But those are 3 that come to mind as definitively ahead. I want to say Arizona State, but Marcus Arroyo's down there, and I'm not bullish on. I think he's gotten much better as an offensive coordinator. That much is clear. Dillingham has had a positive impact on him. I think he's really good. Dillingham, that is. Ryan Silverfield at Michigan. or not in Michigan. What is with me today? I'm all over the place. At Memphis, Ryan Silverfield is a really good head coach. Fran Brown at Syracuse, really good head coach. I don't know that I would put them ahead of Lanning. I'm just spitballing on staffs that I think are really, really good. But yeah, 3 that I would definitely have ahead of Oregon: Alabama with Kalen DeBoer, Kirby Smart at Georgia, Cignetti at Indiana. Ryan Day at Ohio State. That staff is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I'd put them ahead of Oregon as well. So Ducks would be inside the top 10, maybe inside the top 5. So hope that answers your question.